Today we're at the Emporium Hotel in Brisbane and we're here to meet Bernadette O'Shea, a wonderful woman with an incredible knowledge about one particular subject, that of champagne. So Bernadette, tell us about these wonderful champagnes you've chosen for today.
Well, the first one I've chosen is the beautiful House of Pol Roger, which I absolutely love, one of my favourites, but I have many favourites, of course, because it's always so consistent, so reliable, so trustworthy. It's a family-owned company, and Christian Pol Roger came to Australia many, many years ago and launched it in Australia. Had a great following, very charming man, and also people met the charming man and then drank the magnificent champagne from his house. And it's been a love affair ever since, I think.
He was a wonderful ambassador for the brand.
Completely. And the house is just always continually good. Always people know they can buy Pol Roger. And they probably have many memories of drinking it on various occasions. And it's amazing what a memory does to your palate.
Of course, yeah.
It's just so good.
So tell us about the links with Winston Churchill.
Yes, Winston Churchill made Pol Roger very famous. The man discovered Pol Roger and said, I won't drink anything else. I found my champagne. That's all he would order. His lovely quote about champagne was, in victory we deserve it, in defeat we need it. And of course this was the champagne used at the royal wedding, for Kate and William's wedding. They served magnums of Pol Roger.
Half their luck.
I know, on Magnum as well.
Yeah. So, should we open it?
What a good idea.
Have a taste.
What a good idea that would be. The little muselet wire cage to hold the pressure in, because the pressure that builds up champagne goes through a second fermentation. The second one in the... Oh, parfait. Parfait, Tony. The pressure that builds up in a bottle during second fermentation is 5 to 6 atmospheres, which is equivalent to the pressure in the tire of a double-deck bus.
Cheers.
Santé. Isn't that clang of a glass so good?
It is indeed. Isn't the champagne so good?
So lovely.
So run me through this. What are you smelling?
Alone, that's so beautiful.
Is that distinctively Pol?
Distinctly Pol, absolutely. And when you get the palate, very much Pol, but the palate will tell you more Pol, but this distinctly champagne, real champagne. That beautiful thing called autolysis, which is a contribution from the yeast cells, and they add their own nuance to the wine. It affects the structure of the wine, but not the flavour. And you get these toasty, mushroomy, Vegemite, because Vegemite's a pure yeast extract, known only to Australians, of course. You get those lovely smells on the nose, then on the palate. Oh, how good is that?
Will we be finding Pol Roger in this wonderful book of yours, Champagne and Chandeliers?
Yes, indeed. My lovely book, of which I'm very proud. And
Well, give us a rundown.
yes, last year it took out the best in the world for a French wine book, which I was very proud.
Congratulations.
No Australians taken that out before, so very good. So there's lots of stories about the famous houses and histories, but they're all followed, or they do follow after a dinner. So I do famous dinners in the world. Every menu in the world of any great dinner that's ever held, there's
So can you
always
give
a
us an
champagne.
example?
Of a
dinner?
Of a dinner?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lovely dinner in here where Winston Churchill, we're talking about Pol Roger, Winston Churchill was at Buckingham Palace just after the war with the Queen's father. So it's quite amazing, isn't it, the history?
It is, isn't it?
Yes, and he had a dinner at Buckingham Palace and they drank magnums of the 28 Pol Roger, which was Winston's favourite year.
Wonderful vintage, wasn't it?
The greatest vintage of the last century, and it was Winston's favourite year. And there's a little story about how he circled it and sent it to Odette Pol Roger and said, His Royal Highness has the same taste as we have. He'd selected the 28 Pol.
I think I can recall drinking a 28 Moet with you.
And we did drink a 28 Moet together.